First story. My girlfriend is falsely accusing me of singing her after I ghosted her for playing a health emergency prank on me to test my commitment to our relationship. Now, her entitled, rich parents are pressing charges and ruining my life. My girlfriend, 29F, Andrea, and I, 29M, have been together for a few months now. Everything had gone smoothly until yesterday when she pulled off a ridiculous stunt. She called me late at night to say that she's seriously injured or having panic attacks and that no one else is with her, as her parents are out, which was true. They were out. She said that she's also got some chest pain, that she thinks she's dying, and that she's in a really bad state and can hardly breathe. She was heaving while she spoke. She begged me to help her, said that she's already called 911, but that she also wanted to let me know. I was shocked. I took my car to rush towards her house, and it was only after reaching it that I found out that she was joking about it. She met me joyfully and said that she only wanted to see how committed I am during an emergency, as that's an essential part of a relationship or something. I lost my temper and asked her what the F her problem was. She said that she was just testing me, and I got pissed off. I called her an effing B and told her that I did not deserve to be treated like trash and made use of like that. She was crying, saying that she only wanted to check whether I was a good fit and that I overreacted. I left the house immediately, and I haven't talked to her since. She's been texting me, but I just ignored her. Update. After talking to her about it, I have decided to give her a second chance. She's apologized a lot and promised to never do that again. I'd be more careful, of course, and I won't be trusting her blindly, but I have thought that I'd give her one chance, especially since she's shown herself to be regretful. Update. I should have listened to the signs, as I made a previous post about it somewhere else, and everyone was asking me to break up, but I thought she was genuinely regretful about it at the time, as she'd apologized. I am in huge trouble right now, though. I really don't know what to do, so please help me. She reached out to me 2 days ago to say that she doesn't like me talking to a specific girl at work, and I laughed it off by saying that she's a friend. She asked me whether I was sure, and I said yes. She did get into an argument in the beginning, but in the end, she said she understood. But today, she apparently told her parents that I'd assaulted her yesterday because I hadn't listened when she said that she didn't want to have sex or something and called her names. She also informed her friends about it. The gist is that everyone's mad at me. I am a pariah now. Her friends have turned against me, and her parents are threatening to sue me. She said that she's going to sue, and she comes from a rich family. I am basically blacklisted from everywhere now, and am a pariah. All of this has happened in a few days' time since the first incident, which was her attempting to test my relationship or something, which has me shocked. Anyway, she's going to sue me. She can afford the best lawyers, and I am expecting to receive a letter from her attorney anytime now or something. What should I do? Should I just look for another lawyer? I really don't know what to do. Please help me. Second story. Insecure Opie called off the wedding after his fiancée refused to invite her guy best friend to the wedding and deemed an AH. I, 26M, proposed to my 24F girlfriend of 6 years last month. She obviously said yes, and we've been working on wedding details, example save the dates and invitations, venue, caterer, etc. since. We got to talking about who we would want in our wedding, because she wanted to do a special proposal to her side of the wedding court. And she said she wanted to have her best friend since childhood be her maid of honor. The thing is, her childhood best friend is a guy, 24M. They lived on the same street when they were kids and have been friends since my fiancé and I met in college, and her friend was there too. So I've known him for as long as I've known her. At first, I didn't really like him because he was always hanging around her, but after she and I started dating and I was forced to be around him more, I kind of started to tolerate him. He and my fiancé saw each other a lot, but he and I have never really hung out one-on-one before. One time when we were left alone together, he tried to get all tough and did the, "If you ever break her heart, I swear," corny threat talk. He's a small dude, so it made me laugh more than intimidate me. After that, I got the feeling that this was a situation where he liked her, but she didn't know. I asked my fiancé casually if she and he ever had feelings for each other, and she said no, then let me know he was gay. I'm not homophobic or anything, so it's not like I don't want him at the wedding because of that. It's just that I think it would be better if her side of the party was all girls. She and him already did everything together. Not including him in our wedding wouldn't hurt their friendship. I told her that, and she got defensive, saying that if I could have a girl on my side of the party, the girl being my older sister who practically raised me, she could have a guy. I said that it was a different circumstance and that I wouldn't allow her best friend to be her man of honor. She got really mad and said it was her wedding too, then stormed out. I got a text from her sister a few hours later saying she had gone to her parents' house and told them what I had said. They thought I was being an airy hole because I never liked her friend and am threatened by him. I have tried to talk to my fiancée since she left, but she hasn't returned my calls or texts. I really love her, and I don't want to lose her. I just don't want her best friend to be a part of our day. Update. It's come to my attention in a previous comment I made. I have created the world's thinnest argument. I said that my fiancée was unwilling to compromise on things such as the groomsmen's neck pieces and blazers, and as such, I was in the right to be unwilling to compromise about her best friend. I stated in a few other posts that there were other things she didn't want to compromise on, and someone suggested I make a list, so here it is. When we were deciding our wedding date and location, she wanted to do it in the spring in an open field. I wasn't on board with this as I have terrible allergies, and spring is when it's at its worst. She shot down any alternative I gave her, alternatives being things done closer to summer or in summer, and said it was spring or nothing, so we went with spring. Instead of going with a DJ like my suggestion, who could play a mix of her favorite, my favorite, and general upbeat dance music, she said that she really wanted a live band that specialized in her favorite genre. I asked if we could just give this DJ a longer list of her songs in her favorite genre and tell him to pick from the list often, but she said no, and that a live band was going to be better, so we went with the band. In my culture, there are a few traditional wedding ceremonies that I want us to partake in. Some included a kind of parade that leads the groom and his family to the bride's house where they present her and her family gifts, a haircutting ceremony. I made sure to tell her her actual hair would not be cut, and finally, a knot-tying ceremony where the guests wish us a long and happy marriage. She wanted absolutely nothing to do with these ceremonies and said they would take too much time and effort, since it would be like having two weddings. I tried fighting for these more than the others, but she was firm on doing things traditionally. She wanted the groomsmen to wear bow ties and blazers, even though I wanted the necktie and no blazer look. She changed the color scheme from the originally agreed-upon black, gold, maroon, and forest green to pink, or I think rose, yellow, white, and pastel blue, because the decorations would look better in the field. When I said we already printed invitations with the previous colors on them, she said we could throw those out and get reprints. Comments.
Panikbread, AITA.
It's obvious that you have a huge chip on your shoulder about your fiancé's best friend just because he's a guy. So now you're using this girl's only thing to get him out of the way. Also, girls, you're not in high school and going to prom. You're getting married. They're women. You're sexist and jealous and seem way too immature to be getting married. I hope she sees you for what you are and gets away from you. OP. The difference is that I'd have legitimate family in my party, someone who, like I said, has practically raised me and has been there for me since birth and who I want by my side. I know you can argue that she and her best friend are technically family with how long they've known each other, but that doesn't actually make them family. Cheerleader Phi, I really love her and I don't want to lose her. I just don't want her best friend to be a part of our day. You only get to say that if her best friend has done something bad, like stole money from you or took a SHD in the middle of the floor at the engagement party. You are being unreasonable. Your only reason for not wanting him is that he's a guy and you are jealous. That's not a good enough reason, especially when you are having a woman at your wedding party. You are going to lose her because you want her to be unhappy and have someone she loves excluded from her wedding for selfish reasons.
AITA.
OP, why would I be jealous of him? I'm the one she came home to every night and the one she agreed to marry. The woman I'm having at my party is my biological sister, someone with whom I share a deep, natural bond. It's not like I said he couldn't come to the wedding. Song of Insanity. I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt, but the more I read, the more confident I became in my opinion.
AITA.
No matter how I read this, you come off as someone threatened by the fact that your fiancé has a close, lifelong friendship with a man who has never had romantic feelings for her, gay or not, who, by your own admission, you don't even find physically threatening. So what is there to be threatened by? Simple status 15. He gets worse with every response. ARLE, OP, I'm not threatened by him. Welcome to AITA. Buclandia, Sure, Jan.
Ljudgment. AITA.
Update. My wedding may be off. Fiancé posts 1 day later. I, 24F, was recently engaged to my 26M fiancé after 6 years together. We got into a fight a couple of days ago because he wouldn't let me ask my guy's best friend, 24M, whom I've known since we were kids, to be my man of honor. I ended up walking out and going to stay with my parents for a few days. I told them what happened, and they agreed that he was way out of line. I went back earlier today after I thought he had enough time to calm down, and when I came home, he looked glad to see me. He apologized for stepping out of line, and I said it was fine and that we still had time to ask my best friend to be at the wedding. He kind of looked down, then said that we should call everything off. This really surprised me, and I immediately said no. He then admitted that while I was gone, he posted to AR about what had happened and that even though he was deemed the controlling a role, he also realized that I was one because I had basically hijacked the wedding planning. I asked how he could think that, and he pointed out how I chose to have the wedding in the spring, even though that's a bad time for him, and that I changed up the wedding color scheme and what his groomsmen would be wearing without talking with him first. I said that those were practically minor things and we didn't have to call off the wedding for them. Then he said I was insensitive for rejecting his culture's traditional wedding ceremonies and didn't even consider doing them. He had brought to my attention some traditional ceremonies people do at weddings in his culture, and while I appreciated him bringing it up to me, I decided against doing it because it wouldn't fit the vibe of the traditional wedding I wanted. I told him I only wanted to do a traditional American wedding, and that he already agreed with me that that's what we were doing. Then he said that having my best friend be my best man was untraditional. I pointed out that I let him have his sister be part of his wedding party because he wanted some part of his family included, and since he was breaking the tradition, so could I. He got really sad, looked like he was about to cry, and said that me breaking the tradition was like a slap in the face after I rejected his traditions and that I just don't respect his culture at all. That is not the case at all, and I greatly respect his culture. I told him I understood how mean it sounded, but it's my wedding too, so I get a say in what we do. He kind of laughed, got up, said he wanted to take a break, and left. I don't know what to do. I don't want to call off the wedding at all. I tried to find his Reddit post, but I think he was using a throwaway. Though granted, I am too. I love him so much, and I want to be with him for the rest of our lives. Comments. Just 7. It sounds like you are controlling, and you brushed off his complaints as no big deal. If the date, groomsman's outfit, and color scheme are minor details, then they shouldn't have been changed. Disregarding his family traditions is a major detail, and if you are willing to disregard them for a wedding, how does he know you won't for other events? The wedding is 1 day. If you don't let him have a say in that, he's right to take a break and reconsider. Mysterio Parrot 9989. I guess he thinks now that it's his wedding too, so he should get a say in what they do. How delusional of him. Opie Bride. I understand where you're coming from. I'll be honest and tell you that I haven't celebrated a lot of his cultural events besides New Year, as he's Cambodian and they celebrate their New Year in April, I believe. He and his family fell out after he started dating me. His family didn't approve of a foreigner, and only recently have they reconnected. His sister, though, was different. She didn't care that I was American, and she stuck by his side as his only family member. I guess I disregarded the traditions in the first place because he never immersed me in his culture enough, because he kind of cut ties with that side of himself. I was uncomfortable with the idea of being surrounded by his family that doesn't particularly like me during the ceremonies, as both his parents and my parents would be involved. I didn't want to feel like an outsider on our wedding day. 30 ninjas in the back. He doesn't want to feel like an outsider at his wedding either. You're pretty selfish to disregard what he wants. As it's his wedding too, you don't get to make all the decisions. So, say it's minor. If it's so minor, what's the problem with having them do it their way for their side of the wedding party? The wedding and marriage are for two people, not just the bride, who has main character syndrome. Have you made the effort with his parents to get to know them, etc.? This could have been your chance to find out about his culture and family, but you chose not to. Is there such a thing as a traditional American wedding when a white dress was made popular by Queen Victoria, an English queen? You sound controlling and petty, and now you get to live with the consequences of being demanding and brushing off his wants for the wedding. Elephant Gerald. When I first started reading this, I was on your side, but by the end, not at all. It seems to me like he tried to veto your ideas the same way you vetoed his. Honest question. Why should he compromise his traditional values if you won't compromise your non-traditional ones? OP. Of course, I'm interested in the wedding. I've been dreaming of my own since I was a child, but I don't value it more than I value my relationship with him. We didn't get that far into the planning, but for our honeymoon, I was going to suggest going somewhere he and I have always talked about going to. We would have eventually gotten to a place where more of his ideas would be accepted. A bored lurker. Babes, you literally chose your wedding over your fiancé. You broke up because of plans for the wedding. You broke up because you couldn't compromise anything you wanted for anything he wanted. You chose the wedding over the marriage, always. SDCK roll. I read his post yesterday and yours today. You both suck. I think he wouldn't have put up the stink about your male best friend being in your party if you hadn't been so controlling. But that's moot because you're incredibly controlling and don't understand or care. You are selfish and self-centered. You seem to think only your tastes and desires matter for your wedding, forgetting that your groom is a person and not just a prop at your wedding. The fact that you even say, let him include his sister, is grounds to break up with you, in my opinion. Neither of you is mature enough to marry based on the little bit you have written in both of your posts. You both sound fairly unpleasant to be around, but you are definitely the harsher of the two. He's a winner, and you are a till of the Hun. Both of you need to grow up and learn what's actually important in life, how to grow together. Don't get married, mature first. Judgment. White EA, third story. OP discovers divorce papers hidden in air vent, continued. His note was from himself. I'm crying right now. I've never cheated on him and never even had the thought of cheating on him. All I want is for him to be with me. What should I do? It breaks me to see how he thinks like this. Update posted later that day. Hello everyone, thank you for all your support and the response to this post. A lot has happened in the last 7 hours, so here is my final update. Just a few things I think you should know. He is depressed but has gotten considerably better due to medical means and therapy. He was diagnosed with OCD and moderate depression. He has also been portraying signs of imposter syndrome ever since we started dating, but not to the extent that it could be considered serious. He is quite smart as he has been to an Ivy League school, and he is now currently working as the head of the Department of R&D in a well-paying job. But he doesn't openly express emotions. He struggles with affection display. He does portray how much he loves me and makes me feel wanted, but he's still afraid of opening up. He and I love each other to the extent that it cannot be described, and I definitely don't want to lose him. The mere thought of cheating disgusts me. How can I throw myself at someone I don't even know and don't care about? So, he came home. I was sitting on the couch with the box on the coffee table. He tried to kiss me but froze the moment he saw the box. I broke down at that point because the thought of him not coming home to me every day broke me. He came to comfort me, but I pushed him away. I am just crying and saying, why? Why would you do this? You think you don't deserve me, or you think I effing cheated on you? He said nothing. After I calmed down, he said that he had made the arrangements for this, a contingency plan, 3 to 4 months ago when an office worker of his got cheated on, and another office worker's marriage failed as the wife didn't find the husband attractive or interesting anymore. Also, that was coincidentally the time he became a Reddit user, and he started to get frightened about this issue as he read many posts on surviving infidelity and also open marriages and relationships. He didn't tell me that he'd been using Reddit for the last couple of months. He really tried to hold it in but failed. He went to a lawyer and got the papers done just in case. He said that he loves me to death and still finds me insanely attractive to the extent that he doesn't want to leave me for 1 microsecond, and that if I were comfortable, he wants to spend the entire life of his with me. But he just couldn't handle the thought of another man even touching me, and he said that he just couldn't, even for his life, share me with anyone, and that I'm his and he's mine. Mine and mine alone, and I'm his and only his. He said he wasn't trying to justify what he had done, and what he had done was wrong and unforgivable, but he said that he hopes I can understand the circumstances that made him do this and how much he doesn't want to lose me and can never ever share me with anyone, and that he loves me the most, that he'd do anything for me, and that he begged me to be transparent when I'm bored in the marriage so we can talk it out, work through it, and pull through like always, for any reason that I feel upset or have a problem with. At this point, we were both breaking down. He tried to come closer to touch and comfort me, and I let him. I wrapped my arms around him and didn't let go. We hugged forever and cried our hearts out. When he finally pulled back and kissed me for God knows how long, I don't want to lose him. I love this man, and I want to be around him forever and ever. We fell asleep on the couch, with me on top of him. When we woke up and had breakfast, we burned the divorce papers and the note in our backyard and used the remnants of the combustion as manure for our plantations. After that, we took a bath, and we just snuggled. I never let go, and so did he. We held each other for hours until we were okay. We got up, and he made lunch while I hugged him from behind, and then we ate and snuggled. He fell asleep, and I'm typing this while watching him sleep. He's still reaching out for me, and his hand is on my thigh. We discussed and will consult a therapist for the both of us to counter the things he has in his mind. The more I look at him, the more I smile because I know I found the one for me. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.